Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today is Tuesday, and it's May the 2nd, 2023. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to extend to you a warm welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a returning viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets. So you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want you to know I sincerely thank you for your support. Feel free to like and to share this video. And don't forget to subscribe. And our story today takes us to our city, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, Fayetteville police officer kills his wife, then himself. I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. So it was last Friday evening, and Friday was April the 28th. There was a breaking news story on one of our local television stations. Just a brief report making reference to a double homicide and stating that one of the victims was a local police officer. It was stated that a Fayetteville police officer and his wife were found dead, shot to death in their homes. And now very little information beyond that was available at that time, but we learned that a news conference was scheduled to take place within 90 minutes. And many of us were glued to our televisions to hear the details because things like this just doesn't happen in Fayetteville. And the newly elected police chief came forward and he began to brief the public. And he started by acknowledging first that they were addressing a double homicide involving one of their own, a Fayetteville police officer and his wife found shot to death inside their home earlier that evening. It was stated that when the police officer failed to show up for work on Friday and could not be reached via phone calls, apparently he was scheduled to start work at 6 p.m. after having several days off. And I'm sure being a police officer, he was always on time, so it was unusual behavior for him not to be there when he was supposed to. So when they were unable to reach that employee, a supervisor went to his place of residence, and I'm sure they were horrified by what they found. Two dead bodies belonging to the police officer in question and his wife. Both were said to have gunshot wounds. The deceased officer was identified as 53-year-old Domingo Tavarez-Rodriguez and his wife, Yunitza Aurora Torres. The initial report stated that the deaths were being investigated as a double homicide, but they did not elaborate. It was not stated whether the home appeared to have been broken into or whether there were any leads on potential suspects. All we knew is that it was being investigated as a double homicide. Now, there wasn't a lot of information provided at this initial press conference, and that's understandable. It had only been a matter of hours, and I'm sure everybody was still in a state of shock, and they were just assessing, what had really taken place. But the police chief did say that Officer Tavarez-Rodriguez was a retired Army veteran and had been with the Fayetteville Police Department for 2 years, a very short time. He clearly stated he did not have any specifics on the case. He did not know if a third party was involved or whether the deaths would be classified as a murder-suicide, but for now, they were being classified as a homicide. And because a police officer was involved, he stated that the State Bureau of Investigation would be leading the probe, and that's a nice way of saying you won't be hearing anything else from the Fayetteville Police Department. And of course, neighbors are shocked, neighbors are panicking, they're afraid, and many are demanding answers. Was this couple targeted? After all, he was a police officer. So were the deaths related to his job with the Fayetteville PD? The community wanted to know. Is someone out there they should be concerned about? But the police department were not, they were very quiet on specifics. Now, one report indicated that the home they lived in was purchased 5 years ago in 2017. I'm not sure what that has to do with the case, but it was mentioned, so I'm sharing. Another report indicated that someone had reviewed county records which showed that the couple was married on October the 13th, 2022. So they were newlyweds. They had not even celebrated their first wedding anniversary. In fact, the end of April, they would have been married for about 6.5 months, and that's really sad. They had not even celebrated their first wedding anniversary. One neighbor told the media that he and the officer were very close. They have very close relationship, and they often talked about personal issues. You know, this is a military town. Military folks find each other out. And it was mentioned that the officer had shared with this friend that he had PTSD as a result of his military service. And I said, is there a connection? No, no. I'll wait until that's reported. Now, I saw this headline in the newspaper earlier this week, and I thought it was very appropriate. And it says, "What happened to Domingo Tavarez-Rodriguez?" And I say, very good question, because we in the community are wondering the same. We don't know. We would like to know. We would like to know whether or not we need to be concerned for our safety. But even though the police department has not been revealing a lot of information, here is some conclusion that I've been able to gather based on information that's been provided before. First thing, we know that the investigation continues, and we know that the State Bureau of Investigation is now taking the lead. So anything more to be released, they're going to be the one doing it. We've also learned that there's no immediate threat to the public, and that's a telltale sign, and it's good to know. It's also revealed that this police officer was not targeted, and the police chief did specifically say that other police officers in Fayetteville are not being targeted. And finally, there's been no identification of suspects or potential suspect, which says they're probably not looking for anyone else. So based on that information, we all can draw our own conclusions.
And just as I was about to upload this video, guess what? There's breaking news. We have an update. And this is latest news, is information released to the media from the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. We learn that the SBI has reported to the media that this case is now being investigated as a murder-suicide, just as we suspected. It was reported that the wife of this police officer died as a result of multiple gunshot wounds she sustained, and that he died from a single gunshot wound. So there you have it. The Fayetteville police officer of 2 years shot his newlywed wife multiple times, killing her, and then he turned the gun on himself. And that's all I have for you right now. Feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks just like that one, that's the notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.